Welcome to your daily dose of hope. I'm Phyllis Nichols, and I'm glad you're here. Today, I want to talk about the magic of asking and why asking for what you need or what you want is a sign of resilience. Asking for help or for information or just asking about something out of curiosity isn't a weakness, it's strategy. Every big leap that we've admired in someone else or just in general in our lives was powered by a simple question. Like maybe, can you help? Do you know how? Can you join? Or is this possible? Resilience isn't muscling through everything alone. It's staying in motion by inviting resources and wisdom and community to the table. A couple things about being willing to ask for what you need does help us stay resilient, partly because when we ask, we're keeping momentum going. A clear ask helps us remove a roadblock or an obstacle faster than trying to figure out all the answers on our own. It also builds capacity, right? When we ask for help or we learn something new because we've asked for more information, it turns something that maybe was really difficult to do on your own into something that you can do with some assistance. If we can't frame our ask, sometimes things can be really fuzzy. So drilling down on trying to figure out what you need or asking some clarifying questions can really help you put your priorities in place. Another thing about asking is really how you model that for other people. If you're willing to ask, if you're willing to reach out and get additional information, you're teaching your team or your kids, your friends, your family. You're teaching the other people in your life that it's okay for them to ask as well. And another thing to mention, we routinely kind of underestimate what we can do when we ask for help. But often the willingness to just put yourself out there and look for solutions is exactly how we find our way to the next step. There's some easy ways to ask questions. Sometimes it's hard to admit that you don't know something or even to admit that you need help. So maybe just provide some background, right? Just say, hey, here's something that I'm working on, and I'd like to know if you might be able to help or if you could point me in the right direction. Explain why it matters to you, right? This is why this is important to me, or here's why this is going to make a difference. Most of all, just remember that when we can ask for what we need, we're also acknowledging that we're willing to move forward even when we don't have all the answers. We're willing to continue to take action. And that's why and how resilience and hope grows and stays alive, because we're constantly looking for what's next.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.